Hi, my name's Brian, and I'm here to talk to you about an exciting new trend in knitting, the cozy. You're probably wondering why there's a pine cone on my desk. Well, I went ahead and improved on nature and made a pine cone cozy. Now you're probably thinking, why would you need a pine cone cozy? And to that I answer, why wouldn't you need one? Tired of throwing these at your friend's face and they get really mad because it leaves permanent scars? Put a cozy on it. It'll bounce off with a nice little dull thud and they'll be fine. Now, you're probably also wondering, why does it look like that thing wasn't even knit? It just had some yarn wrapped around it. The answer to that is, I have no talent. And as far as I can tell, knitting involves a lot of needles and math. And those are two things that I just keep my distance from. So I'm going to be showing you today how to make a variety of cozies the Brian way. First up, we have a nice little standard razor. You've probably had opportunities where you thought to yourself, I could really use some yarn involved in scraping tiny pieces of hair and dead skin away from myself. This is all you do. Take your razor, take a piece of yarn that you found or stole, and you just wrap it. That's it. You wrap and then you just go ahead and glue it on down. Some people say that you can just tie a knot. I find that's a little too difficult and I don't know how. I'm still wearing Velcro shoes, so I just go with the glue. I don't recommend using glue on your shoes. That makes them incredibly difficult to take off. But in this case, it makes sense because there's not going to be opportunities where you're not going to want to have a cozy on your razor. So just make it permanent. This is more of a semi-permanent glue. Super glue also works fine. Cement, not so much. I find it gets caught up in the fiber.
Next, we're going to be making a spray bottle cozy. This is a great way to liven up your cleaning routine. Your spray bottle may be full of chlorine, bleach, formaldehyde. It doesn't matter. This is a great way to make cleaning a little bit more fun. So, since this is a very boring bottle, I've picked an extra fun yarn to wrap around it. So, just like with the pine cone, we just start wrapping and wrapping, and you can wrap as much or as little as you'd like. So my yarn seems to be getting a little tangled here, so I'm going to say, this is good. And I'm going to cut my yarn. Oopsie daisy. So now there's two different ways you can secure your cozy. You can tie it in a nice little knot, or you can use some glue. For this example, I'm going to tie it in a knot, just in case I change my mind later and would like to change my cozy. It's easy to remove.
Now in this cozy series that I'm doing, I really want to focus on objects that you're going to use every day. And even more than that, objects you might use several times a day. So we already have had the razor and the pine cone, two objects that few people can get through the day without bringing into use at least a dozen times. So next, let's stay on that path, talk about how to make a cozy for your didgeridoo. Now if you're like me, you go to the Australian outback a few times a month. And it's really hard to get around if you don't have some sort of furry protection for your didgeridoo. Now, I would like to do something a little more advanced. I mean, the first two items were pretty easy, so this time let's do something a little unique, and we're going to make an internal cozy because I want to protect the inside. So all you do is you get just a good pile of yarn and you go ahead and just stuff that on the inside. Now I find that this does a few things. One, it protects the inside of the didgeridoo, and two, if you blow hard enough you can shoot it out. Now this brings in all kinds of possibilities. You could put yarn in there, shoot that at somebody. You could put the pine cone in. Remember we talked about make sure your pine cone has a cozy. It protects the other person's face and it protects the pine cone. Once you stuff it in there, maybe toss some glue down there, toss some old trash, you know, Band-Aids, really whatever you want. I like to think of a didgeridoo not so much as an instrument but a receptacle because I don't know how to play it and it confuses me.
So, for this I've picked an extra special yarn, a lovely purple mohair. So, just like everything else, we just start wrapping, and you wrap, and you wrap, and you wrap. So now you can see that I have finished wrapping my entire didgeridoo with my beautiful purple mohair yarn. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this and use good old glue to secure it down. So we're just going to glue it right on. And now you have a wonderful didgeridoo cozy.
If you're like me, you probably think that your dog is entirely too boring. That's why I want to propose the dog cozy. Now, you do this the same way you would any cozy. You take your object, in this case it's a living creature, you take your yarn, and you just go ahead and wrap it around. Now, if the dog fights too much, you may need to get a partner to feed them treats and generally keep them happy while you glue yarn to them. Now, if they really put up a struggle, it's time to put them down. And, you know, I want you to be creative. Don't stop at the pine cone or the dog. You know, maybe combine a few. If you can make a cozy for a dog didgeridoo combo, I think people would thank you for it because that's a situation that we just often find ourselves in.
So you might be wondering, what do you do with your cozies when you're not using them? Well, I like to store mine in the Cozy Cozy. So maybe you have a dandruff problem and you'd like to clean off your comb. Well, just slip your cozy right off and keep it in the Cozy Cozy. Now, I've had a great time making cozies with you today, and I hope that you'll join me again next time. And don't forget to visit my website, marionets.com, for more cozy fun.